Hello everyone, Jeff here with you for a GMTE Express add-on YouTube exclusive. This is episode number 6 of the Wednesday Night Wrestling Blitz between AEW and NXT. Let's go ahead and get right into it. We'll start with AEW first. It took place from Charlotte, North Carolina. The opening match on the card had Pac taking on Trent Barreta. Thought this was a very good match. Of course, Barreta was out there with the best friends, as one half of the best friends. He's out there with Orange Cassidy as well. A lot of back and forth here from these guys. At one point later in the match, we see Orange Cassidy get into the ring. He did his comedy spot here with the shin kicks. He would ultimately eat a big boot from Pac and take it out. As we get towards the final part of the match here, we see Pac going up to the top rope. He had hit the Black Arrow, the corkscrew, off the top rope through what should have been the finish of the match here. They clearly botched the finish here. Somebody did, because Barreta was not kicking out, and the referee stopped the count before 3. Now, they did play it up on commentary saying that Barreta kicked out. He did not kick out. He was not going to kick out. So either the referee botched or Pac botched. I think this is on the ref. If you're the ref, you got to count to 3 in that situation. You got to, do it like a shoot here. I guess the referee thought this was supposed to be a submission when Pac does put on the brutalizer, and Trent taps out and submits very quickly to him, and that was it. So afterwards, Pac took the mic, and then he took shots at Hangman on a Page, gearing up for their match at Full Gear. So that's what we had there. Solid match, just the botch at the end there. Somebody screwed up, and I think it's the referee who should take the blame for this one, I think. Cody Rhodes was out for his big announcement that has been hyped up for the last several weeks, but we never got it. But we got it here, though. Tony Schiavone's in the ring interviewing him. During the promo, Cody compared himself to Cowboy Bill Watts, Eddie Graham, and his own father, the late Dusty Rhodes, as someone who served as both management and a member of the roster. He went on to say that he's been hearing criticism about being management and challenging for the title. And the big takeaway is, if Cody says if he fails to defeat Jericho in the championship match here, he will never challenge for the AEW World title. I'll have thoughts on that in a second. Cody also called out Jericho for his comments about Cody's privileged upbringing and being born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Cody did point out that Jericho's also kind of in that same class as being upper middle class because of his famous hockey player father, Ted Irvine, who played in the NHL. And then basically he says it's almost as the two rivals share the same silver spoon. So I thought this was a very good promo here, an outstanding promo from Cody. The line about him maybe, not getting another opportunity if he doesn't win the match. He didn't say if he didn't win the title, he just said if he didn't win the match. So that clearly tells me we're getting some sort of some type of chicanery, some sort of a screwy finish here. Probably where Cody wins by disqualification, but he does not win the title. I know they have the deal, if it goes 60 minutes, they have the judges. I don't think that comes into play. I don't see it going 60 minutes. I think they're setting up for some sort of a screwy finish where Cody wins but does not win the titles. That's just my thoughts. Later on in the program, they did this little spoof promo with Jericho and the rest of the Inner Circle here. Some pretty funny stuff. You have to go back and watch it. But basically, the big highlight here was to see an appearance by Virgil. Yes, that Virgil who used to wrestle in the WWF and WCW back in the day. He made an appearance here. We saw him. He basically puts over Jericho in this spoof video. So that was kind of the highlight there. But yeah, some pretty entertaining stuff here from Jericho. Basically counteracting what Cody's promo was. So I thought that was kind of a pretty cool takeaway. So you have to go back and watch it. Some pretty funny stuff there as well. Tag team action was up next. We had Private Party, I'll say that 3 times fast, taking on the Dark Order. This was billed as a bronze medal match. Basically, the idea is whoever won the match got the bronze medal, and they also were the final team to get into a 3-way dance for Full Gear for the tag team titles. So they have the match. It's a good match. Ultimately, in the end, the Private Party win after hitting Stu Grayson with the gin and juice for the win. So they get the bronze medals, and the other teams were out there. The SCU was out there on the English commentary, and the Lucha Bros were out there on the Spanish announced commentary team. So they were out there, and eventually the 3 teams would get into the ring, and they had a brief face-off and square-off, basically hyping up that match for Full Gear. Next up was more tag team action. This time the women got a chance to shine here. We had Emma Shakira and Jamie Hayter taking on Rio, your AEW Women's Champion, and Shayna, who we saw for the first time last week. It's a good match. I thought it went a little longer than it needed to, but it was a fine match. It was okay. Not the best women's match we've seen so far. I thought that happened here more recently, but this was okay. A little bit of a surprise here, in my opinion. They had the heels win. Shakira, who is challenging Rio for the title at Full Gear, beat and pinned Rio with the La Costa for the win. I don't understand the booking here. I don't know why you would pin your women's champion. I kind of understand it, but I don't think it was the right strategy here. It just makes the title look weak by pinning her just days before their pay-per-view. And yes, it was a tag match, and I know the title was not online, but I was not a fan of it. I would rather have pinned Shanna if you were going to do that, and because they've booked Rio pretty strongly so far. Even though I've not really warmed up to her yet, but I mean she's improving. But we'll see what happens with this match with Shakira and Rio at Full Gear. But with this result, I think it makes it pretty clear that Rio is going to be successfully defending the title at Full Gear. It's just my thoughts. Next up, we had Shawn Spears taking on Brandon Cutler, of course. Tully Blanchard, original member of the Four Horsemen. Of course, they're in Charlotte here in the Queen City. He was out there with Shawn Spears. Not a whole lot to the match here. At one point, we see Tully Blanchard towards the end here slide a chair into the ring to Spears. But that was after the match. Not a whole lot to say about the match. Shawn Spears won with the Death Valley Driver. We see him slide the chair into the ring to Spears because he's the chairman. We see Joey Janela come out to make the save. They had talked before the match had started about the attack that Shawn Spears had done to Joey Janela on AEW Dark by trying to rip out his tongue with these pliers, which that's got to be quite the visual. He didn't get it done, obviously. So Janela came out to make the save for Brandon Cutler, and they chased off Spears and Blanchard, and that was it. So we had that. And in your main event for the evening tag team competition, we had AEW World Champion Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara of the Inner Circle taking on the elite members of Adam Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. A lot of good stuff here. We saw Jake Hager. He was at ringside. He got involved early, attacking Omega behind the referee's back, which was Aubrey Edwards. So that's a big deal for her to be main event, being the referee for the main event. Pretty cool stuff, I think. He also caught Guevara as he was thrown out of the ring, but then Omega responded with a big dive on both men. Pac ran in and then hit Page with a low blow behind the referee's back, and then with Omega on the outside, Jericho hit Page with the Judas effect, and that was it. He got the win. So they beat Hangman Adam Page again, which is kind of interesting. So, I mean, the heels won here, which is no surprise. I figured they were winning here anyways. After the match, Cody ran out and laid out Guevara before Jericho and Hager did a double team. And then MJF hit Hager and Jericho with the chair. And then Cody ultimately does hit Jericho once he gets him back into the ring with the Crossroads. Moxley came out with the barbed wire bat to have a showdown with Kenny Omega. Jericho got some heat back by getting some shots in on Cody. Santana and Ortiz ran out and attacked Moxley and Omega, and they fell victims to super kicks from the Young Bucks, who ran out, and then everyone kind of worked their way back up to the entrance ramp, the brawl, and then Nick Jackson hit this big dive off the entrance, off the top of the stage there, off the set as they were going off the air. So a nice big brawl here on your go-home show to Full Gear. I liked it. This was pretty good stuff here. The heels got the win. We got a clear winner, but they did the brawl here at the end. I thought that was very solid. I think that's old school booking. It's very smart booking too. So I liked what they did here at the end. So that was AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite from Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's get on to NXT, of course, taking place from Full Sail University in Winter Park, Florida. They opened the show with the OC. They make their appearance here from the main roster from Monday Night Raw. They attacked the Undisputed Era outside the arena before entering. And we see AJ doing all the talking here. He claims now that they have taken out the champions and then they were taking over the show. Tommaso Ciampa does come out and saying that he's walking them to the main roster. I actually got a little smile and snicker out of that. And then he had back up. We see Matt Riddle and Keith Lee come out, and then that's all sets up for a 6-man tag match at the end of the show. So good stuff to come. Our opening match on the card here tonight is a rematch from last week. We had Pete Dunne taking on Damian Priest here. Very good match. We skip ahead towards the end of the match here. Damian Priest hit this great-looking crucifix bomb, a.k.a. the Razor's Edge. He hit it off the ropes for a very close near fall. And then they did a little bit of role reversal here this time. We saw the referee kind of get pushed back into the corner could not see what was going on. And this time, Pete Dunne got some heat back in from last week. He took Damian Priest to low blow city here. It's a bargain basement city, if you want to call it that. And he eventually locked Priest into the cross arm breaker, and then he did the deal where he snapped back on the fingers. And then Damian Priest tapped out. So 50-50 book, and Pete Dunne gets his win back from last week with a low blow and into the submission. Killian Dane runs out to attack both guys after the match. We see the Vader bomb on Dunne in the ring to lay him out, and then Dunne on the outside hit the cannonball outside on the Priest into the steps. So good stuff here. Killian Dane getting his heat in. Likely going to be setting up a triple threat match, it looks like, between these three going forward. So we may see that at War Games. We'll have to wait and see if that's where they're going with it. Next up, we had women's competition. We had Tanira Conti taking on Santana Garrett here. Not a whole lot to say about the match here. This was more of a showcase for Tanira. Garrett missed a handspring moonsault at one point, and then at the end here, in about 5 minutes, didn't go very long, Tanira Conti won the match by hitting this kick to Garrett's face for the win, and that was it. Not a whole lot to say about the match. Pretty basic stuff. NXT match here next, non-title action. We had Shayna Baszler, your NXT Women's Champion, taking on Dakota Kai. Of course, the other member of the Horsewomen are out there with Shayna Baszler. That's, of course, Jessamine Duke and Maria Shafar. They never really get involved in the match, so I didn't really see any reason why they needed to be out there until after the match ended. Baszler, the focus of the match here for Baszler was to work on Dakota Kai's injured right knee. She hit this incredible-looking gut-wrench suplex off the middle rope at one point. Kai battled back for a while, but ultimately in the end, Baszler caught her into the clutch for the win. Dakota Kai had fought it for a while. Ultimately, she tapped out to the clutch. The Horsewoman attacked Kai after the match. Rhea Ripley and Candice LeRae came out to make the save. Io Shirai and Bianca Belair came out to take them out, and then Mia Yim came out with this big kendo stick. She ran wild on all the heels, and then this was made her to make her look very strong. This is the strongest she's probably looked in quite some time. This work with the kendo stick was good enough because it was announced later that she would be the final member on the babyface team here for Candice LeRae's team, or Rhea Ripley, I should say, because she's the captain. So they choose Mia Yim over Dakota Kai. Now, I wonder if this is going to set up some sort of a heel turn for Dakota Kai, or maybe an advancement up to the main roster. So we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be very interesting to see how they react with Dakota Kai here not getting the nomination here to be in the War Games women match. So we had that. Number one contenders match for the NXT Cruiserweight title was next. Here we had Angel Garza taking on Tony Nese. Good stuff here. Towards the end of the match here, Nese was trying to go for a power bomb off the ropes, and then unfortunately for Nese, they did the deal where he ripped off Garza's tearaway pants. Garza had hit a missile dropkick after that, didn't get the win. Nese battled back for a while, and then Garza came back to hit the pump handle into the lunge blower for a near fall. Nese hit this outstanding looking 450 splash, which I thought was going to be the winning shot of the match here. Garza got his foot on the rope just before the 3 count. Ultimately, Garza does win in the end. He hit the wing clipper into the matchbook cover for the win. So he is the number one contender. Lio Rush, your NXT Cruiserweight Champion, comes out for the handshake to Garza. Garza slaps him in the face. So I thought that was a nice little nod there. Nice, cool visual. So Angel Garza and Lio Rush are going to have that NXT Cruiserweight title match on next week's NXT show. So that should be something to look forward to. Singles competition here. We had Dominik Dijakovic taking on Isaiah Swerve Scott here. Good stuff here from these guys. Ultimately, Djokovic was able to win the match. He had hit Swerve in midair towards the end here with the Feast Your Eyes and got the win. So, but a good match. Both guys got a chance to shine. Swerve looked pretty good here. He looked good in defeat here, but Dijakovic needed to get the win to continue his build, and then So that's what we had there. And then your main event for the evening, it is 6-man tag team action. We have the OC coming from Monday Night Raw to take on Tommaso Ciampa, Matt Riddle, and Keith Lee. The teams brawl right at the start here. Styles opened up by leaping out of the ring and hitting Riddle with the phenomenal forearm to take him out for a while. Ciampa caught him with the Willow's Bell. Riddle got the hot tag. Hit Styles with the final flash, the bro to sleep, and the German suplex, but did not get the win with it. We see Styles take Lee out with a DDT, and then we see Styles hit the Pele kick on Matt Riddle for a very close near fall and into the Brain Buster as well. We got a referee bump here that took the referee out. Ciampa was eventually going to go to hit Styles with the fairy tale ending. Finn Balor's music hit. Styles took out Ciampa with the distraction with the Pele kick, and then Finn Balor hit Riddle with the spike DDT on the floor. Styles basically stood in the ring and held up the Too Sweet, and then Balor did the finger gun point at him. And then Adam Cole ran into the ring from behind and then super kicked Styles before taking out Ciampa with the last shot. So Adam Cole was left standing in the ring as Balor was looking up from the entrance ramp, and that's how they went off the air. So kind of an interesting ending. Got a no contest. Not a big fan of that. They didn't want to be either team clean here, obviously, but I mean, I get where they were going, but that's what we had there. So that was NXT that took place from Full Sail University in Winter Park, Florida. Which show gets my recommendation of the week? Which show was the one I thought was better? Very close this week. My pick this week is for AEW. It's very close, but I think AEW just nudges it out more in the fact because of Cody's incredible promo and the main event here was pretty good. NXT really didn't do anything wrong. The only squabble, the only downside I thought was the lack of invasion from the main roster here. We just got the OC and they bookended them at the beginning, and at the end of the show there was nothing in between here. So, and I get they didn't want to blow their load right away here because they're getting built to Survivor Series for that NXT versus Raw versus SmackDown format that they're going with, but I would have expected a little bit more of an invasion, but we still have time to build to that. But a little lackluster, I thought here. I thought we would see a little bit more throughout the show, but we didn't get it. So AEW by just the slightest edge here is my pick of the week. So through 6 weeks, I have each show with 3 wins. Let me know down in the comments section, folks, what you thought the favorite moment from Wednesday was, and then we'll see what happens. We go forward on to next week's show. Thanks for checking us out. We'll see you next time here on YouTube. Bye for now, everyone.